it on.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can.
I'll start.
Yeah.
A warm good evening to one and all present here. I'm Nahida and welcome to Team 2. Today is the fourth meetup of Team 2. Now, let me give a small intro of this group. Well, not to the name Team 2. We all know communication and leadership are the key skills for job in the cooperative world. The objective of Team 2 is to promote communication, collaboration, public speaking, social and leadership skills. The core group members are in 17 to 30 years age group. Those who are doing the colleges or those who have finished with the studies and started working. Due to the high interest from younger students, we have also initiated below age group as Team 2 Juniors. Why Team 2? Through Team 2, we are connecting younger generations. The group is for collaboration. There are a lot of experience within the group itself. If you want to get into higher studies or jobs, people with the community can help each other. Team 2 is for communication. We are planning 13 sessions with a planned approach at the same time with fun games and prizes. Team 2 is for leadership. We are interacting with young leaders as guest speaker to our sessions and provides a chance for discussion with them. So set aside an hour every weekend for self-development. Attendance to meetup is mandatory for active members. So please ensure your participation in all meetups and also please stay till end of the meeting. Now, today we have a senior personality as a guest speaker. We also have three other members who are ready to perform a very passionate speech. Now I call upon Dia to introduce our guest speaker. Dia, up to you.
Hi, my name is Dia. So our first guest speaker is Mr. Benoy Joseph, who has close to 30 years of experience as a scientist in DRDO, and later he worked in leadership role in leading US MNC. He was leading high-profile teams to deliver systems, architecting, and defining products. He worked in middle and senior management roles, and his leadership enabled successful market launch of many products and processes across the globe. Mr. Benoy is highly collaborative and result-oriented person with strong technical and business acumen, with proven record for building motivating highly talented team to excel in delivering high quality products and solutions for industrial automation segment. We are so much grateful to have you here with us, sir. Over to you, Mr. Benoy.
Thank you, Dia. And I'm impressed with the way that you found my profile. Was it LinkedIn?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you again, Dia. So I was talking to Ashraf, or rather, Ashraf actually has been calling me a couple of times to connect with this team, or rather, give my presence or talk in this team. And I wasn't sure what I can interest you all with. Okay. And I'm not still sure. But I like the initiative because I wanted when okay, let me tell what I'm doing now, then I'll come back to my background, what you mentioned here. Maybe I'll spend some time because it's important you understand that I don't do anything now. So I'm you can say retired or quit my job, but I'm not my age is not yet to retire, so I quit early. And I'm in Kerala. I think, Lubna, you wanted to ask where I was. So I'm in Kerala, a place called Thrissur. I don't know if you know or heard about it. So I am settled here. It's a little bit of a remote village. I won't say it is extremely remote. I've seen more remote places like in Karnataka and all. I was in Bangalore before I came here. I came here a year and a half back. Okay, so he told me about this, and I said when I came here to Kerala, I was interested. When I quit my job, rather, I thought I will do some teaching. And what I found, and why I decided to do that was when I was working for Honeywell. When after DRDO, I joined Honeywell, and when I was working there, I found the students are not prepared to take up a corporate job. Okay, in terms of not preparedness in terms of technology or knowledge about technology, they are very well prepared for that, but they are not prepared to get or transition from a student life to an employee. What does that mean? So in student life, you are probably you will be studying from books. People or teachers will tell you what to do. You'll have assignments to do. You'll have a team to tell you, and something definite and something you have a handle on, and there are guides to help you with. And when you join a company, there are, of course, there are guides. There are people who can help you, but there aren't that much definitive people that it's not very sure that you will be successful in what you're doing. So and the transformation of from an employee to a, or rather from a student to an employee, uh, they are very scared in terms of what to do in an organization, especially when the organization is large. Okay, uh, there has been changes. There has been students. I would say when we hire people from colleges, freshers, when we hire, maybe about 20% of them are very outspoken. They challenge status quo. They ask questions. They find out what's in it for them, what's in it for the company. But the others, the other 80% is not in that category. They take modules of work, not sure what that work entails in the final picture. What's final picture for a company as well as for the team or for the organization. So they're scared to ask. So when I saw that, I thought maybe I can help in talking to students and making them see the larger picture. Of course, the smaller picture is also important from an individual's perspective, but what is the larger picture? Do you ask that to yourself or to the company or to the organization? That's what I wanted to give some eye opener to the students when as they transition from a student to an employee. Am I going too fast?
No, you are fine.
Okay. So when Ashraf asked me this, I thought it's good initiative. I couldn't do that because of course this COVID was a deterrent for me. I tried to get into some colleges through some known people, but I was not successful. And probably the schools or the colleges were not ready for such a scenario where somebody comes from industry. And what's my background? Of course, I worked. There are so many people that's worked in an MNC and probably as a director, as a VP. So where do I stand apart from those guys? Maybe they had all those questions, perhaps, and I'm not blaming them, but somehow I could not do that. So I thought this was a great initiative by Ashraf and you all to get to that stage. At least the inquisitive stage is very important. So I said, this is my first time. Okay, I haven't given so many speeches over Zoom to outside of the company that I work for. In my company, I have given it so many times because there are when people come and this people employees as from students to employees, they are put through a rigorous, not a rigorous, but a training program where people are asked, seniors are asked to take these classes or take the students along, tell them what's in it for them, what does an organization look like, what are the processes that they have to do. So I have some experience doing that, but not outside of the company that I worked. So it sounded interesting. So I said, okay, let me ask you then, what should I talk about? Ashraf said and I have noted that point. He wanted to talk about how to get to a 1 crore salary. Is that right, Ashraf? You're on mute. Okay.
Yeah, 1 or 2 crore, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, a 1 crore or 2 crore salary. That was an interesting point. But don't get your interest hyped up because I don't know yet, and I will touch upon some few points which may help you. But first question he asked was, do senior like people like directors and VP get more than 1 crore? I said yes, I know people who do get more than that. So it's a reality. It's not a myth that there are people that don't get that. So, okay, it's not like that. So coming back to the point about me, as I think some of you joined or read, I think Divya, Ashraf and me both were a product of KUSAT actually. I was doing the master science in computer science and Ashraf was doing physics. So we knew each other from then. Then after KUSAT, and I was lucky enough to be part of a sponsored program by the DRDO Defense R&D Organization. I think Rajiv Gandhi institutionalized that, and then 5 batches were selected from across the country. And I was the 3rd batch. There were 2 before me and 2 after me, and after that, I think the program was stopped. So there were dearth of computer scientists in India at that time, and the program was kickstarted to actually have those people and have the DRDO absorb these scientists and work for them. And then I worked for DRDO for about 6.5 years, maybe close to 7 years, and then I joined Honeywell. So Honeywell, as I don't know if you know, as an organization, some of you are maybe in Dubai, and some of you are maybe in Kuwait also. We have an organization. I have come to Kuwait, by the way, and Dubai, visiting the Honeywell offices. So I know these places have it. The others also might have seen the company. So it's a controls company. So it's a large organization. When I was leaving, the organization was about 50 billion in revenues yearly. And there are 4 major divisions: aerospace, and you mentioned industrial division. So it's a huge company. And when I joined, I was like, I'm sure, as you know, from a defense organization, I was called a scientist in the DRDO. And from then, when you join a multinational like this, initially you get lost, right? I mean, and I was lost too. And luckily, I had some experience of work, 6.5 years, and I was little bit of I was not shy, as you I mean, as you see in employees today that are transitioning from a student to employees. So I asked and I sought help, and I could get some. I could find my way around the organization, and I worked there for 20 years. I was initially a team member in the organization. Then I became a team leader, then a project leader, then an engineering manager. Then I became a director. For about 10 years, I was the director of the one of the largest teams in the organization. All right, so that's some background. So any questions so far? Anyone has any concerns about me being on the talk show or anything like that? Anything is open. Okay, I don't hear any. I hope you're all awake, right? Nobody is in the midnight except probably Lubna, right? You're probably early morning?
Morning.
Okay, all right. All right, now some and how many, what's the largest experience that any one of you have, like here? Maybe I think somebody introduced and said transitioning from students to employees, right? So maybe 1 or 2 years experience or more. Is there anyone more than 2 years experience? No, okay. Doesn't matter. I just wanted, if they have, they can actually join me in giving. Of course, I know Ashraf has, but
there are some parents. Even though you are seeing one picture, there may be parents also listening. So like some people are working a little like serious for more than 10 years, 15 years, like that. Like Anwar, Anwar is like a senior, similar to our kind of age.
Okay, all right. Only I wanted to also invite them to offer any insights they have as I talk. Okay, there may be questions that some of you have. Feel free to question that. I mean, I think there is some time set aside for last half an hour or last 15 minutes or whatever. I don't know. But don't wait for that, because you forget, I forget. So anyone has a question, you can ask me.
Sure.
So when you go from a student, okay, finally, when Ashraf and I talked, we settled on a couple of things. One is, I said I don't have any slides, some project slides I cannot show you. I don't, and I'm not going to prepare it. So is that okay? So he said it's fine. A talk is good enough. So that's one thing. And second thing, what he said was, when I talk, you all will also interact with me. Okay, you all will be participative. And that's the way I like to work. Zoom meeting is not very effective. I actually told him I want to do a face-to-face if that's possible, but it's not, I know. So if you have questions, or if you don't have, if you want to bring in a point of view, please feel free. That actually keeps the session alive. If I just keep on talking, it's a monologue, and I feel sleepy. You guys feel sleepy, I'm sure. So when somebody joins a company, right? So let me ask you all, and somebody can volunteer to answer. How do you choose a company? What is the basis of when you select a company? Okay, the first answer may be, as I got a job here, I just joined, right? That could be the typical answer, but some people have 2 or 3 offers, right? So in that scenario, how do you join? How do you choose a company? Don't tell me just salary is the only criteria, okay? Because it may not be.
And the work culture.
Uh,
Yeah.
the work and
Yeah, Manisha, go ahead.
apart from salary, as you said, the first thing would be work environment. The second would be the people who are working over there.
Okay, and how do you know that? You haven't joined, right? You don't know the work environment, you don't know the process, you don't know the people.
But at least through the visualization which we are doing, we'll go there for the interview so we can see the surroundings and things. So an idea of the work environment comes into the mind. Apart from the work culture or people, at least the surroundings and things give an idea that how much this company is uh, going to provide or what is the company's background.
Okay, all right. So that's one way. Is there anyone else that can offer some different perspective?
Sure. For me, I think there are 2 different ways that I think about it. One from an organization perspective, depending on if my moral values and the organization moral values, if they align or if it's against something that I believe in, is one sector. And on personal, again, what kind of Monisha said, the work environment, my salary, my commute, where it is. There are so many personal checklists that I have that which covers most of it. Maybe I will go.
Yeah. So both of you are right. These are important factors, but there is also another element. Okay, you said that point. You said from the company's perspective, right? So when you join or before you join, do a little bit of research on the company. From, of course, all these angles that you spoke of, but also from a business angle. Okay, how a company makes money, or how a company is growing, and how a company is planning to do in the next 5 years. What are they going to do in the next 3 years or 5 years? Because all of that is mentioned in their website. I'm sure some big companies definitely mention them. What is their strategic focus going to be? Which all markets they enter? These are important because I'll give you an example. So say you're joining a petroleum company like Honeywell. They have a petroleum division or other industrial division, and the price of crude is coming down absolutely, like $5, $10. This is a hypothetical scenario, okay? And you are planning to join that company. Would that be a good choice for you, right? So Honeywell caters to customers who actually give you petroleum products, right? The cost of crude is coming down, so customers will not invest in that, right? Honeywell's customers will not invest in that. Like I'll give you an example of, say, in India, there's a company called Reliance, right? Reliance Industries. In the US, there is a company called ExxonMobil. So these companies, when the price of crude is $100, $200, they invest heavily because they want to bring down the production cost and then make money from them, right? So when the price is coming down and you are joining the company, it's not a good scenario, because the company will eventually they will not make money. And what do you think will happen to the employees? The first choice of any large corporation would be to reduce cost. Okay, in such a scenario. So what do you think will happen to the employees? It will be like the R&D dollars will be reduced. R&D is one way to reduce the cost of a organization. When they reduce the cost of employees, they reduce the overall cost for the company. So my point in saying this is do a little bit of research where the company is planning to make money on, because the company making money is important to you. It's very much important to you as an employee. even though you are joining on the lower ranks, it's very critical for you to make sure that company has a vision, as a mission. They have a future planned, and they plan to make money. Any of you planning to join an NGO, I would ask you to think very, very deeply about it. And what is your because all of you are in it for the money, right? And we talked about 1 crore salary, 2 crore salary. No company will be able to pay you that much money unless they make money. First and foremost, you have to have that clarity in your mind. So as we speak about career paths in that organization, and the salary that you wish to draw from that organization, another question you should ask yourself is, why should a company pay you 1 crore, for example, right? Why would a company increase your salary? Because nowadays, and in India, this is a little bit more prominent, because everybody wants to be promoted every 2 years, every 1 year, every 3 years. And if they don't get promoted at least in 3 years, then they quit the organization and join some other organization for maybe a 10% or 20% or 30% hike. I don't know whether that's good. Maybe it's good, but just for that, my recommendation would be to think twice about which company you're joining, because that company may not be able to sustain you at that level of salary for more than a year or two. Okay, maybe it will, maybe it won't. So find that out. Maybe if it does, then probably it's a good choice. If it does not, then it's not a good choice, right? So think about that, and why a company should pay you that much money. So as I was talking to Ashraf, I told him, somebody who is being paid 1 crore of salary, how much do you think the company should make money from that person? See, let's not kid ourselves. The organization, when they hire an employee, they will talk about employee friendliness. I love the employee. Yes, they will do that. They do that. But at the end of the day, the company has to make an X amount of money that the company is paying to this person. Otherwise, the company is doing charity, right? And company eventually will fold up. There are many examples of people being hired with high salaries. The company is not able to pay, and they have wound up shop. It's not large organizations, but smaller organizations. Without thinking through, they hire very capable or maybe high-profile people, and high-profile people don't join an organization unless they paid very, very high, right? In 2-3 years or whatever time frame they are in the organization, if they are not bringing that value to the organization, the company cannot pay them and fire them, and the company shuts shop. So when you aspire to be like having 1 crore of a salary, ask yourself, it's not bad to aspire. You should aspire. I'm not saying you should not, but make yourself worthy of that 1 crore, and make yourself have the company at least get an X amount of money in return for you, right? I don't want to define that X, because some companies have that definition. Some companies, by rule of thumb, my what I understood from my experiences, at least a 10-fold revenue is what I should bring in if I get a 1 crore salary. That means 10 crores of revenue I should be bringing in. It's not always revenue. It's also the margins that company makes, right? You get salary paid by the margins, from the margins, not the revenue. So if you don't have margins, or rather profit, company still doesn't make money. So those are important points to consider when you join the organization, when you aspire for more salary. And you should aspire, but think about this, and that will make you actually want to contribute more to the organization, and make you more valuable to the organization. If you don't make yourself valuable to the organization, no company will pay you that much money, or any money for that matter. Questions so far?
Yeah, and field, right? See whether people need to be in the technical field, or in the management field, or in the marketing, right?
Yeah. I'm coming to that. So from a career path. So ultimately, Ashraf and I decided we'll talk about career path as well in this talk. So as you grow in the organization, how do you build your career? Right? It's not a job you're going to do, right? Initial 3 years, 4 years, it's fine. But finally, you have to have a career. You have to be known for something. You have to be known for something in the organization or outside the organization. And so how do you plan that? How do you and there are a little bit of challenge here in especially in India, but in the US it's not of a big concern, but maybe it'll get there. I'm not saying it won't. US and other places, maybe in Canada as well. because the population is less. In India, everybody aspires to be, as I said, everybody wants to be a manager, right? Because of there is a lot of status, family pressures involved, because the family don't know anything else other than a manager. Have your son got promoted as a manager? That's the first question somebody asks, right? So that means if the answer is yes, that means that person is doing well in the organization. If it's not, if I tell, or rather the person tells, I am an architect, they don't understand, right? An architect is for building houses. What are you doing in an IT organization building houses? So maybe it'll change after some time, but that's a typical response in a family setup and in a setup like India. So unless you get promoted every 2 years, 3 years, there are peer pressures, there are family pressures, there are a lot of pressures from everywhere. So aspiring to get promoted is, one hindrance, or rather, I won't say hindrance, one factor that one should consider in India and other countries and other similar countries. So when you choose your career, how do you decide where you want to go? Any inputs? Anyone can volunteer? How to choose whether you want to be in a technical career? Based on what will you select that? Okay, no answer. All right. So first 3 years, go ahead, go with the flow, and then find out what in the company, what is your interests, what are, of course, first 3 years you have to be technical, right? You have to understand the company, the products. There are two large, when you bifurcate companies, there are two types of companies. One is a product driven company. What I mean is companies that actually sell products and then make money out of that. The other one is services companies, like Infosys, for example, is a services company. But it could also mean that they have also products that they sell, but largely Infosys, TCS, Wipro are all services company. Companies like Honeywell and maybe HP, they're all product companies. What I mean by that is they actually have products to sell, and they actually service those products and then make money from servicing the products, and or like Microsoft, for example, they actually give you upgraded versions of Windows, make money from that. iPhone, Apple, for example, will make money from upgrading their phones and then selling them. So those are two in a large context. Okay, then of course the latest technologies, AI based companies, software driven companies are all there, but eventually they're all product driven. So first decide what is the company that you want to work in. If it's a services organization, there is some scope for technology, and being great in the technology is always the company values you, because for example, if you are good in, say, Azure or cloud, being a cloud architect is very important nowadays, because there are products or maybe services that actually are being cloudified. Okay, so understand that. Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, the Zoom has a 40-minute shutdown. So.
Oh, okay. So we are over our time.
No, it's okay. We can just disconnect and reconnect, or you can wait. There's no problem. When maybe another 1 or 2 minutes, it might disconnect. So just to join the same link again. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Okay, so I think as you told me, I realized we are 30 minutes or 36 minutes into our discussion, and I don't know what you all feel. If you want to shut down, I'm fine. Otherwise, I can talk for another.
Yeah, till another 1 or 2 minutes, it might automatically shut down. So we can rejoin the same link. You rejoin. Okay.
Okay. No, if people are up to it, I can rejoin. Otherwise, we can maybe take it.
No,
take a different
anyway,
session.
We have few follow-up sessions anyway. So we can probably continue. So same thing. You can just speak and conclude, and then we can take the next level. So yeah.
Okay.
Continue, yeah.
So let me then conclude about this technology or managerial career path, because it's not easy, but every company will have these two career paths. Okay, so your job as an employee, or maybe as a person who is first interested in actually building your career, is to find out what you're good at, what you're capable of, because not everyone is built to be a manager, not everyone is built to be a technologist. Okay, eventually, I'm not saying the 6 years or 10 years experienced people. I mean more than that, above that. More than 10 years. After 10 years, you will get bored of technology, people who are not inclined to be on the technology path. Because then they have to decide to switch to